Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. The following interview was conducted on location in Fiji before filming began for Survivor 50. Stephenie LaGrossa Kendrick had not competed on Survivor in over a decade. LaGrossa Kendrick returned for 2010's Heroes vs. Villains after famously becoming a tribe of one in Palau and failing to win in Guatemala. After having children and appearing on television in Snake in the Grass and The Traitors, she returns to Survivor 50 in the Hands of the Fans, which premieres on CBS on Wednesday, February 25. Therefore, what is her starting strategy? With whom does she intend to collaborate? And perspective on the brand new era of the game. We discussed all of that and more against the beautiful backdrop of Fiji's Mamanuca Islands. Also, check out our on-location interview with Jeff Probst here. TV line. We haven't seen you in a while on Survivor. What's been happening in your life since then? Stephenie LaGrossa Kendrick. My last appearance on Survivor was 30 seasons ago, or almost 16 years ago. After that, I got married, started having children. I have three, a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and 6-year-old. I also recently stated, I'm done with the reality television thing now. I'm just going to be a mom. I'm very involved with my kids' school, all of their sporting events, and other activities of that nature. So about 12 years went by. Following Heroes vs. Villains, I got a call to do a show again, and it was called Snake in the Grass. And because I hadn't done it in so long, I said no. My husband and the kids heard me and said, "Do it. That makes me happy. You should do it." It was only 10 days. I was in Costa Rica. It was supposed to be a scavenger hunt of some sort, and I was like, what's the harm? I'll do it. So I did it, and I lost, thanks to Siri, because she knows me too well. She is aware that I cannot lie because it was a game about lying. She knows a lot of information about me, and she outed me. Then I got a call from Traitors, and the man was talking to me on speakerphone while my son and I were in the car. It's in a castle in Scotland, and it's like a clue game. It's so cool, and you'll love it, the description reads. I added, "Thank you for the offer, but I'm sorry I can't do it," once more. I actually had a family affair for my son the day I was supposed to be leaving, which is why I said no. I hung up the phone, and my son said, "Mom, just get on a plane after the luncheon." It was his first Holy Communion, and I'm like, "Kyle, it's 30 days in Scotland. I don't think I can do that. I have never been away from my kids that long." So I went home, told my husband, told my older daughter. They all said I should do it. Call casting director back, and I said, "You know what? I'd love to do it if you'll still have me." I then performed Traitors and haven't done anything since. After Heroes vs. Villains, because I was so enraged, I vowed never to participate in Survivor again. I got voted off second, didn't even have a fighting chance. James was an asshole. It was just a whole nightmare. I never even watched the show. Some here and there I watched because I really am a true fan, but I was pissed. I was like, I'm done with Survivor. I get the call for 5-0, here I am. In all honesty, anything with 5-0 seasons is pretty amazing. Like, I'm not going to take that call being a true Survivor fan myself. So here I am, 45. Last time I played, I was in my 20s, so I'm an older version of myself. Not old, just older. But here I am, and you know what? I came this close and never won. So it is my turn. I'm here to kick ass. Literally take names, write them down, throw them out, and be the last person standing. TV line. There are a lot of familiar faces here, some of which you know or have played with. How is that going to affect your game? This is the issue then. I have played multiple times. Several familiar faces are present. I can be a threat to others because I know some people personally, like Siri, like Colby. I don't know Coach, but he was on Heroes vs. Villains, but I got voted off so early I never got a chance to meet him. But you know what? Everybody's a threat. You've got Angelina here with 2 other people she played with. There's season 48. There's 3 of them. I mean, I'm not the only one. Then there are winners. There's going to be a lot bigger threats than 45-year-old mama of 3 Stephenie out here. okay? So I am here to play my game and make use of what I have, which may include people I know. There's a lot of twists and turns. It's definitely a new game. It's definitely quicker. Although it has certainly advanced, it is still a game of numbers. At the end of the day, if you're on the wrong side of the numbers, you're out of tribal council. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm still going to make good alliances, and I hope that those decent alliances will take me far in this game. Somebody's got to be the first boot. TV line. Who are you most excited to see here? Wow, I was probably most excited to see Jonathan. I loved him on his season. I just thought he was amazing. He provided for the tribe. He's obviously as strong as an ox. I just think he's a kind heart and a good soul, and he's someone from the new era that I have no connection to. I think that I could work well with him, and I think he would want to work with a girl like me who values loyalty and keeping the tribe strong and good gameplay. So I was really excited to see him. TV line. Who do you think should take the first step? Because he has messaged me multiple times on Instagram and I do not know him at all. The first boot has probably got to be someone like Q, but never talked about the game. Just like, hi, how are you? Then I didn't respond, and then he friended me, and then like, Happy Mother's Day. And then like, how hot is it in that sauna? Because I get mine up to 180 when I went to a sauna once. Then I looked it up, and they don't really go to 180. When I got here, we weren't allowed to talk to anyone, so everyone was just staring at each other and smiling or doing whatever else they wanted. He has barely even looked at me. Maybe he's mad because I never responded. I did thumbs up a couple of things. I think I said thank you when he said Happy Mother's Day, but it's like, are you trying to pre-game? What are you trying to do? It was kind of odd. He just seems like someone who was a little bit of a wild card during his season to me, and I feel like he's probably tried, if not has, talked to a lot of people. So that's a problem. Somebody like that's got to go. TV line. Who isn't here that you expected to see? I'm actually surprised, though, to be honest, that they have Kyle and Camilla here. Joe's awesome. Joe's another one I loved. I loved all three of them, but those two played like an identical game. I'm surprised that somebody like a Mitch isn't here. I would have done a Kyle if you needed another winner, because you gotta have a couple of winners. You can't just have one or two. I probably would have had like a Kyle and a Mitch and a Joe. I'm not sure. That was crazy to me. Both Kyle and Camilla are present. That's a duo that needs to be broken up for sure. Is there a mistake or flaw in one of your previous games that you want to avoid this time around? Yeah, I mean, definitely Guatemala. To go all the way to the end, and then, basically, the jury hated me. I understand that in the new era, that type of gameplay would be rewarded if explained properly, but either I didn't explain it properly enough, or the jury management sucked on my behalf, or they were just bitter, or all of the above. So just to get that close and then still lose with everything I had against me, literally back up against the wall the entire time, coming back-to-back seasons, huge threat, whole bit, I'm mindful of all of that. So from day one, I'm going to try to do that better, if that makes sense. TV line. What do you think your own target size is? I honestly think, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the number one target, I think I'm in the middle. I truly do. I've never succeeded. Even though it was more than 16 years ago, I played 3 times. All 3 times I was in my 20s. I'm 45 now. Every time I've played, for the most part, yes, on Guatemala, I did have to stab a couple of people in the back. But look at the alliance I formed. It was with Rafe, and he was calling the shots. I was just going along with it, because I was like, shit, as long as it's not me. Do you know what I mean? And my alliance, I stayed true till the end, and I also did that in Palau. Bobby John was my alliance. It just happened to come down to a fire-making challenge, and he taught me too well how to make fire, I guess, or there was an angel watching over me. I'm not going to say I'm not a threat to a lot of the people here, but it's 5-0. We're all threats. There are 2 people here that we have no idea how they ended up, okay? I'll take my chances and hang out with the people at least I know how they played, rather than the 2 that are here that just played. They're here for a reason. You want to think I'm a big threat? I'm pretty sure they're two of your biggest threats. TV line. Do you think the players in the new era have an advantage? I do think the new era players have an advantage. The majority of them are older than I am. A lot of them are really good at puzzles, which I'm not, and it's a lot of puzzles now. They've just played. It's fresh in their minds. They know what to expect. They know how to maximize their power from these advantages. We, the older generation, as you might call us, did not have any of this. It was alliances, numbers, challenges,
Impromptu camp was painted a soft gold hue as the morning sun broke through the vast blue Pacific. In the waning flames of the fire from last night, coconut husks burned. Stephenie LaGrossa Kendrick was staring at the horizon as she stood at the shoreline, her sun-bleached hair being tangled in a strong breeze. She slowly exhaled. This was not just another Survivor season. It was Survivor 50, the half-century celebration of a game that had tested bodies, minds, and spirits across continents. And Stephenie was back, once again answering the call of the island. The calls had come with a bewildering pregame twist. But before she could think about strategies or alliances, she had to reckon with the messages. The messages that didn't add up. Usually, there were a lot of physicals, contracts, and briefings before the game. This season, however, all contestants received strange messages in their inboxes. Anonymous messages sent at odd hours with eerie hints and bizarre predictions. Stephenie got hers for the first time at 3:07 a.m. You don't know me, but I do. Look to your left. Nobody should be trusted with scissors. There is no sign, no context. She blinked at her phone, half asleep. Scissors? Look to her left? She laughed it off when she told her friend back home. Maybe a prank. Maybe a weird coincidence. Then more people showed up. Island tides speak in riddles. Shadows are first seen by those who sleep at dawn. Watch out for the chalice of fire. The strongest is ruined by one sip. They arrive in pairs, but depart on their own. Choose silence. Some people deleted them. Some circulated them like curious objects. Everyone was saved by Stephenie. She couldn't shake the feeling that these weren't just random. They felt like warnings, or maybe psychological seeds planted by production. After all, Survivor had a history of mind games. She tucked them away, determined not to let them seep into her game plan. The arrival and first impressions. When the castaways landed on the sandy shore of this remote island, tropical birds welcomed them with raucous squawks. The familiar theme music echoed in their minds. The competition was real once more. Stephenie's eyes scanned the tribe, recognizing some faces from past seasons and others who carried that nervous spark, the same one she had felt 15 years ago during her first run. The old instincts came out. Find water, build shelter, watch people's eyes. But as the first ray of sunlight warmed her back, she had another thought. Which of these pre-game messages, if any, were true? The mysteries begin to unravel. On day 3, the tribe divided into 2 camps for a puzzle and tightrope walking challenge over icy water. Stephenie's camp lost, and she found herself holding sticky pieces of a map someone had scribbled onto a palm leaf. Odd handwriting, strange runes. She glanced down at the first message again. Watch your left. Maybe it wasn't literal. Maybe it was directional. A breeze brushed her cheek. She turned left. Out of her corner of an eye, a young woman named Marisol crouched near a stand of bananas, shaking them loose. Stephenie approached. Need a hand? Marisol startled. Yeah, thanks. They worked together, and by the time they'd finished, Stephenie had gleaned that Marisol was quiet, observant, and careful. Exactly the kind of person worth aligning with. Maybe that first message did mean something. The odd pregame messages turned serious. By day 7, several castaways had begun whispering about the mysterious messages. People were comparing notes, trying to find patterns, even debating whether they were sent by producers or a publicity stunt. At first, it was funny, a kind of riddle to bond over.
But then alliances began to form around interpretations of the messages, a strange twist that took everyone by surprise. One group took "tides speak" in riddles to mean watching when the tide changed, thinking hidden clues might be washed ashore. They spent hours scouring the beach. Another obsessed over "chalice of fire." They assumed it referenced the feast reward, maybe a challenge choice, maybe a temptation. Some imagined a shot, a literal drink that carried consequences. Stephenie watched all of this with a measured calm. She'd been playing Survivor long enough to know that too much speculation could erode focus on the real game, people. Still, she couldn't shake curiosity. What if some of the messages held truth? The shot she refuses to take. The conversation returned to the messages during a late-night fire camp strategy session. "We should test one," a young firebrand named Dex suggested, grinning. "Test what?" Stephenie asked. "Like that chalice thing. What if next challenge has an immunity idol hidden in a drink bowl or something? One shot could make you immune." Some of the others laughed. "Or could make you sick," Marisol added. Stephenie's gaze hardened. The group looked at her curiously. "You're not serious," Dex said. She responded, "Oh, I'm serious. No way, no how. I will not take a shot just because a creepy message suggests it." A ripple of laughter followed, but Stephenie's tone was firm. "I've seen twists before, but I refuse to let some vague riddle make me jeopardize my health or my game." The fire crackled. Silence settled around them like a shroud. The line for Stephenie was clear. Intuition is a useful tool. Blind gambling is not. Her stance impressed some, irritated others, but she stood her ground, turning the messages into power. By the time the next immunity challenge arrived, the castaways were buzzing with message theory. This one was a tough course of obstacles with hidden puzzles. While others chased clues and overthought, Stephenie focused on fundamentals: speed, agility, endurance, and keeping her cool. She surged ahead. Marisol followed. Together, they completed the final puzzle swiftly and secured immunity for their tribe. Back at camp, the tone had shifted. No more shouting about tides or chalices. People realized that the messages were most likely part of a psychological experiment or a scheme to keep them from playing the game. Stephenie's calm, rational approach gained traction. The final revelation. Weeks passed. Alliances strengthened and collapsed. Votes were cast under tropical stars. In the midst of a brutal game, the odd pre-game messages faded into legend. At the final tribal council, the jury grilled Stephenie on her decisions, including her refusal to take that so-called shot. "You were the only one who didn't chase every bizarre hint," said one juror. "Your game stayed real, grounded," another added. "Those messages almost broke some alliances before the game even started. However, you remained focused." When the votes were tallied and the once quiet island stood silent in anticipation, Stephenie LaGrossa Kendrick heard her name called as the sole survivor of Survivor 50. Epilogue: Beyond the Island. After the reunion show, media buzzed about the pre-game messages. Were they fake? A production teaser? A publicity stunt? Stephenie was unconcerned. She kept them, stored in her mind like battle plans. She pinned them to a bulletin board at home, not as warnings, not as predictions, but as reminders. Distracting mysteries exist. There are some unanswered questions, and in the end, you win by knowing your own strength, rather than chasing shadows.